Hey there, I'm Joe Carter. If you've ever popped the hood and thought, where do I even start? You're in good company. Around here, we take the mystery out of car repair, one fix at a time. Whether you're a beginner or just looking to sharpen your skills, there's something here for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're into learning without the headaches. All right, that's enough from me. Let's get into it.
The established value of the test load when tightening threaded connections, which excludes thread breakage, is about 85 to 90% of the yield strength. In fact, this value is the maximum tensile force that both provides a secure connection without allowing lead and does not result in plastic deformation of the bolt or stud stem with the threaded part. If we give a number of tabular examples of such indicators of tightening torques of bolt or stud threaded joints, they can be expressed by the tables. It is important to note that the table gives both kgf*(m) and n*(m), which are identical units of measurement. Required tools. In order to achieve torque settings that are suitable for safe operation, the appropriate tools are required: analog torque wrench, a digital torque wrench. Both of these tools show the force with which the nut on the bolt is tightened. When performing this action, it is worth taking into account the error that the instrument gives. Otherwise, you may not achieve the required values. Approximate values for passenger cars. Next, we will present some examples of the torque of tightening bolt connections for different parts of the passenger car ladder priora, summarized in tabular form. Car assembly or part thread size tightening torque N*(m), Newton*meter, bolt connection for cylinder head mounting M12 with thread pitch 1.2585 7-90 tightening torque for main and connecting rod types of liners M10 with thread pitch 1.2568 3-84 for correct tightening torque for connecting rod bolts for 16-valve version M9 with thread pitch 143 3-53 5 flywheel bolt connection M10 with thread pitch 1.2560 9-87 for crankcase oil pan bolt connection 1458 8-88 3 on the front suspension when attaching the support to the body 19 7-24 3. The same will be the tightening torques of connecting rods, cylinder head, bearings and a number of other assemblies and parts on similar models of ladder cars: VAZ 2106, VAZ 2107, VAZ 2109, VAZ 2108, VAZ 2110, VAZ 21083 and others. More precise information is presented in the reference tables. Reference table for VAZ 2107, tightening torque of threaded connections. VAZ 2112, approximate values for trucks and buses. Here are some examples of tightening torques of threaded connections for trucks or buses. Examples of tightening torques for threaded connections for CAM-AZ 740. From this table, you can use numerical values to accurately set the torque of the CAM-AZ cylinder head, its clutch basket, camshafts, and other elements of the car. Order of tightening: to tighten the connecting rod types of bolts, engine elements, valve or any other unit or part was performed correctly. It is required to follow the established technology. This minimizes the risks of thread breakage or insufficient tightness. Observing the technology, it is necessary to perform the following stages. Preparatory: the fastening connection is disassembled. Dirt and corrosive deposits are removed. Pre-tightening: screw the nut onto the bolt or stud end without effort. If one part is connected with several fasteners at once, it is important to realize uniform and gradual tightening to avoid misalignment. It is professionally necessary to tighten threaded connections located at opposite ends, or act through one or two bolts, stud. Final, threaded elements, nut bolt or nut pin, are tightened to the specified tabulated values using a torque wrench. It is this tool that makes it possible to exclude exceeding the recommended parameter or under-tightening to the required value. What are plain bearings, their types and their role in the operation of the internal combustion engine? 8 plain bearings serve as a support for shaft-type parts, which transmit the load to other elements of the unit. Varieties: radial, they transmit forces acting in a radial direction, perpendicular to the journal axis. Thrusters. Their main function is to absorb and transmit forces that act parallel to the axis of the journal. Angular contact bearings. This is a type of bearing that perceives both radial and parallel forces in relation to the axis of the journal. Types, dimensions and role of crankshaft liners. The engine is a multi-component mechanism containing a large number of parts. If we evaluate the role of crankshaft liners, they serve as sliding bearings, creating the necessary torque on the crankshaft. In VAZ, they protect some elements, preventing premature wear of mating parts. According to their design features, they are: root. Contact the part of the crankshaft where it passes through the internal combustion engine. Connecting rods. Most often located on the shaft journal. The size of the liners is determined by the standard. Individual standard sizes are contained in the table. Signs of wear of main and connecting rod liners. The force with which the connecting rods must be tightened affects the degree of wear of the parts that make up this assembly. The crankshaft journal wears much faster than the liners of this part, although its hardness is greater. The cause of wear is the ability of the liners to accumulate small solid particles, which together with the oil lubricant get into the gap. This results in scratching of the crankshaft journal. Due to the occurrence of this feature, the liners must be changed in time. However, it is necessary to determine the correct time when this action should be carried out. This can be assisted by measuring the clearance. You can be guided by the following figures. In the connecting rod bearings, clearance cannot be higher than 0.1 mm in the main bearings. This parameter should not exceed 0.15 mm. General recommendation: change the liners at the time when the engine is overhauled. Measuring the gap between the liner and the crankshaft. There are two main ways to determine the gap between the liners and the crankshaft, using a micrometer. It is desirable that the measuring device has an accuracy of up to 0.001 mm. Using a special calibrated wire made of plastic, must first clean the working surfaces of the liners and crankshaft journals, to lay a piece of wire between the elements to be checked. Install the connecting rod together with the cap or main bearing cap. It all depends on which journals are checked. Further screw the threaded connections and determine the required torque. Bolted connecting rod. For example, for VAZ cars this figure is with. After performing this action, the assembly is disassembled again, the wire is taken out. It is flattened after such an action, taken out and measured on a scale provided with the kit. Table of tightening forces and strength classes for metric bolts when there is no guidance or the ability to establish the necessary bolt tightening torque for specific cases, for example, when fixing the wheel camshaft, flywheel, hub, valve cover or any other assemblies of the car, including the VAZ cylinder head. You can use a standard table of bolt connection tightening torques. In this case, focus on the type of thread cut, metric, inch, thrust or any other type, as well as the size of the nominal diameter. A few examples of tightening torques are shown in the table below. Thread diameter. Thread tightening torques depending on diameter and strength class M1659, 979, 999, 8M 1882, 5M20, M22, M24. These values can be used to determine the tightening torque of the cylinder head bolts. Table of tightening forces and strength classes for inch bolts. In a situation where the reference point is the tightening values for threaded connections belonging to the inch variety, it is allowed to use this table of standard values. It will come in handy when it is necessary to determine the tightening torque of the bolts of the cylinder head bolts or other assemblies of the car, produced abroad, where the corresponding standards and units of measurement apply. For example, the G4FC engine of a KIA car has a metric thread, while Cadillac, BIC and a number of others have inch threads. 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 110 trillion 138 billion 117 million 156,195 158 trillion 211 billion 264 million 202,270 237. In conclusion, understanding the tightening torque of main and connecting rod liners is crucial for the optimal performance of internal combustion engines. Utilizing the right tools and following a precise tightening procedure ensures the longevity and reliability of plain bearings, which play a vital role in engine operation. By familiarizing yourself with the various types of bearings and their specific requirements, as well as consulting the table of tightening forces, you can enhance your engine's efficiency and prevent potential failures. Remember, attention to detail in these processes can make all the difference in maintaining a well-functioning engine. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this information valuable for your automotive endeavors.